is Histories and Mysteries. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Rochelle.
And on today's episode, Ashley is going to be talking about celebrity imposters, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And Rochelle's going to be talking about ghost ships, which I'm excited about. One of my favorite spooky movies is Ghost Ship.
Were you going to say Titanic? It sounded like you were going to say Titanic.
No. I am.
Although one could argue that would be a ghost ship.
Yes. No, Ghost Ship is a great movie. I love it so much.
It is. I remember the cover of it was like...
Oh, yeah.
The DVD cover had like the hieroglyphic... not hieroglyphic.
Holographic.
What's it called? Holographic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it used to scare the crap out of me.
So cool.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, I watched The Conjuring 3 last night.
Ooh. How was it?
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
I saw a list like going around Facebook today of like putting all of those movies in order if you wanted to watch like the full story.
Yeah, we started to do that, and then I got too excited to watch the new one, so we stopped. But we did watch The Nun, which I really like The Nun.
Oh, yeah.
And then we started to watch Annabelle Creation, but then...
I liked that one. I thought that one was good.
I haven't seen that one, so I gotta go back and keep watching it.
I think I've only seen the two of them, and I think I might have watched Annabelle. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. They're good. I like all of them.
Do you remember like what the first scary movie you ever watched as a kid you probably like shouldn't have watched when you were a kid?
Well, I remember the first scary movie so my mom loves scary movies too, but my dad hates them. So the very first scary movie I ever saw with my mom was Carrie. So that was good.
Never seen it.
You've never seen
it?
Carrie?
No.
Jessica.
What?
I watched Carrie.
I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies growing up.
Oh.
Oh yeah, but like don't watch the remake. Watch the original.
No, you gotta watch the original. Yeah.
Or watch the musical. There is a musical. Okay.
Did you see the Carrie 2 or whatever?
No.
Yeah, there's a Carrie. It's not as good, obviously. And the only thing I remember from it is like when she uses her magic or powers or whatever, like vines crawl up her face. That's the only thing I remember from the movie, other than it wasn't very good.
Spoiler, thank you.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I also found out that the week before Halloween, I am going to be going to New Orleans.
Ooh. That's when the wedding is, right?
Yeah, so Cody's best friend, Caitlin, is getting married in Alabama, and they're going to stop in New Orleans. And yesterday, Cody was like, hey, do you want to go to New Orleans like a day or two early, and then we'll just do some like haunted tour stuff before they get there? And I was like, yes.
Well, I'm jealous.
Oh, I'm super jealous.
I'm so excited. I gotta find like because I think we're gonna go one day early, so I think we're only gonna have like one night, so I gotta find like the best tour. If anybody listening has any suggestions, send them my way.
Go see Madame LaLaurie.
I did suggest, I was like, oh, we could go tour Madame LaLaurie's house. And Cody was like, no, I'm not doing that. He's like, it's too gross. I can't do that. So we won't be doing that, but maybe I'll be able to walk by it and take pictures. All right, so the main source I used was an article from NME called Imposter Alert, 9 Ridiculous Conspiracy Theories About Celebrity Changelings by Larry Bartlett. I'm going to say how you say it. And then I also used some Reddit. Tried to go down. One of them I tried really hard to go down a Reddit rabbit hole, and there just was nothing on it. I think it's just too ridiculous for anyone to... Well, someone did believe it because it's out there, but... So I think one of the most well-known ones is of Avril Lavigne.
Absolutely.
Yes. So the story goes that in the very beginning, Avril was pretty camera shy and like didn't really like to do interviews, and it was really hard for her to be in the public eye. So they hired a body double for her so that the body double could do some stuff for her if she was just feeling too anxious about a public appearance, that kind of stuff.
Is that legit?
I think it is for like really big stars.
Yeah, and I know like Miley Cyrus, and we'll talk about her later, she legit has a body double that she uses. I don't know if Avril's is part of the conspiracy theory or if she really did have a body double, and if she really did have a body double, if the reason was because she didn't like being in the public eye. I'm not sure. But the theory is that Avril Lavigne died in 2003 in a car crash. A lot of these have to do with car crashes. Celebs are dropping left and right to car crashes, apparently. So she died in a car crash in 2003 and was replaced by her body double named Melissa. And the proof, are you ready for this rock solid proof?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Avril likes to wear pants in her appearances, whereas Melissa wears dresses and skirts.
Oh my god.
So you can see pictures
Avril-
of the later Avril in more dresses and skirts than she used to wear when she was younger.
Yeah, but even Avril used to wear like dresses over her pants and stuff,
Yeah.
and like skirts and stuff.
Yeah, and like she matured, like she grew up. You're
Yeah,
gonna wear different
yeah.
People
things.
have, like style changes.
Yeah. So another
Yeah,
bit of
you feel more
evidence
girly.
was that in her song Slipped Away, she says, "The day you slipped away was the day I found it won't be the same." So that's apparently Melissa singing it about Avril.
Didn't she write that about her grandpa?
Yeah, I think so. Also, Avril Lavigne had a photo shoot with the name Melissa written on her hand. Which she
Isn't that her
did, but
actual
like,
name?
if you were the clone, why would you write your own name on your hand to have a photo shoot when you're trying to be Avril?
That's dumb. Or she's just vain. Who knows?
True. So that is the Avril Lavigne. There's also one for Paul McCartney.
Yes, I know that one too.
Yep. So apparently they say that an imposter named Billy Shears, who was an orphan and won a look-alike contest for Paul McCartney, replaced Paul McCartney in 1966 when Paul McCartney died in a car accident on the way home from an EMI recording studio session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it said that the Beatles were so worried about the effect on their careers that they replaced him with this Billy Shears. But later on, they started to feel really guilty, guys. Like, we replaced him and we didn't tell anybody. So we're going to put hints in our songs and see if anybody catches them, okay? So apparently the funeral artwork for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band suggests that Paul McCartney died. If you play A Day in the Life backwards, you can hear the recorded phrase, "Paul is dead, miss him, miss him." And also, theorists think that you can hear John Lennon saying, "I buried Paul" at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever. So apparently this theory has been around since the 60s, but in 2015, several websites reported that Ringo Starr had confirmed it.
Is that a kid or a cat?
Cat.
Okay.
No matter what I do, no matter what I try, he just meows if the door is shut.
He so mad. Hang on, sorry. I meant to look this part up and I forgot, so I'm just looking up really quick.
This wine is rank.
Aw.
I think all wine is rank. I don't understand
I have my
how you
ATWWD glass.
enjoy it. Ooh.
It's rank. It's just I try and only have like a little bit of a glass like every day we record. So I kind of let one bottle go for a few weeks when it shouldn't.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So apparently this whole interview that Ringo Starr had that people like, oh, he said it was true. Apparently the quote is, "When Paul died, we all panicked. We didn't know what to do, and Brian Epstein, our manager, suggested we hire Billy Shears as a temporary solution. It was supposed to last only a week or two, but time went by and nobody seemed to notice, so we kept playing along. Billy turned out to be a pretty good musician, and he was able to perform almost better than Paul. The only problem was that he couldn't get along with John at all. So that's apparently the quote.
Oh.
Well, it
That's
appeared in the World Daily News Report, which is a satire. I can never say this word.
Satirical.
Thank you. Satirical news website. So it's like The Onion, right?
Yeah.
And so they printed that. Everybody took it as real and like ran with it. And everybody freaked out that it was true that Paul McCartney actually died in 1966.
People believe anything. Like,
oh my
absolutely anything.
They wait till I get to this last one. It's just whew. So another one is Miley Cyrus. And they say that the imposter is Miley's old body double. And she did have a body double. They do have, like, film of... She was on stage doing a concert, and she, like, went in a back door, and then her body double came out. I'm assuming to give her more time to, like, change or something along those lines, right? So, apparently, in 2010, Miley died of an overdose. Or was killed by a corporation, is what it said. So...
You know, okay, did you guys ever watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Oh, yes, I love Brooklyn
On
Nine-Nine.
and off, yeah.
We are, like, rewatching it randomly, and we just saw the NutriBoom episode today.
What was that again?
Boom, boom. The NutriBoom. It just reminds me of that corporation.
Oh, my gosh. I know. Ridiculous.
It's so
I love
funny.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Those are two
it's
wildly
ridiculous.
different theories, though.
Right?
Like, very different.
And, like, the one of her dying of a drug overdose, I could see people believing that, right? Like,
Yeah.
she went pretty opposite of her younger persona. But whatever you believe, if she was killed by an overdose or the corporation for getting a little too crazy, they didn't like how she was just getting a little too sexy for their taste, so they killed her. They believed that her former body double took over, and is now Miley Cyrus. So that was that one.
No, Miley looks too much like her family.
Right? She looks exactly like
Yes.
her family.
Like, way too much like her family. That, like, I don't think... It would have to be, like, a sister or something. I don't think it could just be, like, a random person.
Yeah,
that
because they do
looks
have
like
a very
her.
distinct look.
Very distinct faces.
Yeah.
But there is plastic surgery, right?
True.
Yeah, true.
True.
And a lot of people can be made to look like whoever they want.
True.
And those, like, crazy masks, like
Oh, like the...
spy masks.
Yeah. Jessica, do you think that Miley Cyrus is a body double?
No. But I'm just saying.
I watched
They're
an
different
episode of
things.
Conspiracies on Netflix, and they were like, talking about that, like the disguises that they would use in the FBI, and that was like one of them. Is they were showing how this one woman literally had like this mask on her face, and it was like a different person, and you would never in a million years be able to tell that it wasn't a real
Yeah.
person.
Oh, that's
See?
crazy.
And they have so much money, so, like, they could definitely afford.
Yeah,
And she was, like, hard into the drugs back then.
she
so-
was, yes. As I was saying, like, the drugs one, you can kind of see, like, okay.
Yeah. It's like when she got through that fog, it's like, how did she not die?
Yeah. She did, yeah, she was very open about the drugs, and there's a lot of them.
Nothing wrong with that, but
Yeah.
it was just surprising. But my theory is if she did die, is that there's like that crazy FBI face mask spy thing.
Gotcha.
Right.
This next one doesn't really make sense. There's really no reason behind why they think it, but they think that Megan Fox is being impersonated by multiple government clones.
Oh.
What?
But they think
Weird.
that Megan Fox is still alive and that every once in a while she's replaced with a clone that's created by the government. And these are referred to by forum users as Fagans. Fake Megans. Fagans.
No.
And they say that every time she looks different, they say it's a new clone. Because she's aging, and I think she's probably had some plastic surgery done and probably some kind of
Yes.
upkeep plastic surgery, like
Botox
or something like that. So anytime she looks any different, they say that it's a Fagin. A fake
my
Megan.
goodness.
But they never really said
fake.
why they think that she has clones.
Yeah,
Like,
why would they
why does
pick
she
her
need
out
it?
of any other celebrity? Like, she's
Yeah.
not that relevant anymore.
No.
She
And
never
I
really
tried to find
was.
it, but there wasn't much. Okay. This one gets pretty crazy.
Fagans.
So Beyonce, they say that she's actually a clone because in the beginning of her career, they knew that if she died young, that it would be such a waste of talent because they knew she was going to be huge. So they took some stem cells from her body. So they believe that in 2010 she died, also in a car crash. And so they used these stem cells to make a clone of her. So now Beyonce is just a clone. And again, they do
Okay.
this just by looking at pictures of her from then and now.
There's been a lot of, like, really famous musician deaths, famous people deaths that are, like, arguably more famous than
Yeah.
these people, that they haven't tried to have a clone. Like, they said they're dead. Like,
Right.
like, I'm just trying to understand why they want to keep certain people around, and other people, they're like, no, we're had enough of you.
This next one has probably the most information on it that I could find. And it's Eminem. So
Oh, yeah.
apparently Eminem is a clone made by the Illuminati.
Oh.
So in 2011, Eminem said that he had writer's block for 4 years, and that's why he didn't have an album between 2004's Encore and 2009's Relapse. Well, people are saying that it's because in 2005, he actually died in a car crash, again, car crash, organized by the Illuminati because he refused to work for them.
Oh.
And the proof is they say that the new Eminem is very different. And, quote, this is from a conspiracy theorist, quote, and those who are and were his true fans likely didn't buy this switch at all. Many brainwashed people, not able to conceive of what reality is really like, believed the lie and followed after their hero in his new mentality. And it goes on to say that the clone is a satanic, homosexual sellout Eminem who is leading the younger generations into being slaves into the new world order.
What? That's ridiculous.
Okay.
So that is probably the most ridiculous one I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's still not as ridiculous as the last one that I think you guys are
What?
really like.
And again, like, why would they want Eminem of all people?
Well, and I think that they're saying that the Illuminati killed him, and to cover it up, they made a clone of him so that nobody knows.
Okay.
And that this new clone is trying to get them into the new world order, which is what the Illuminati wants.
I think Eminem's just old and trying to stay relevant.
Exactly. He's just older.
He's got to, like, get the younger crowd onto him,
Right.
like, onto his stuff if he wants to stay around for longer.
Right, and a lot of his stuff isn't aging well with our new society of being, more like post-Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff. It's not aging well, so he kind of has to reinvent himself or be canceled,
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, like you guys said, like, he's older now.
Yeah.
Like, he's not in his early 20s anymore.
Right.
People.
All right, and of course there has to be one about Britney Spears.
Yes.
And they said that Britney Spears is a series of clones because Back in the day, in the late 90s, when she was dating Justin Timberlake, they were in a pretty bad car accident, and that is true. But they said in that car accident, Britney Spears actually died. And since then, a set of clones has filled in for her. Because in her 2005 track, Mona Lisa, she says she's been cloned. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. She also put the word fuck in her song without anybody realizing it.
Did.
So
She's a
Yes.
mastermind.
That was a
So
good
one of
song.
the other theories with this one is that this doesn't really have to do with being cloned, but it was one of the things that I found in the rabbit holes I went into, that, you know, when Britney Spears kind of had her mental breakdown and shaved her head, the theory is that the Bushes, like George W. Bush and Barbara Bush,
I'm glad you clarified that you meant the people.
the Bushes,
Yeah, because I was picturing like the bushes on the side.
like shrubbery. No, so the presidential family hired her to have a mental breakdown so that the media would focus on her and not what they were doing in the background of politics. And I just think that people who are really closely following politics are probably not Britney Spears fans, and vice versa.
No.
All right.
I mean, who knows?
Right? Okay, so this is the last one I have, and this is probably the craziest one. And it was the one that I found the least amount of information on, and I tried the hardest on this one because I don't understand it.
I'm so excited. I want to know what it is.
So the theory is that Katy Perry is
No.
actually...
It's JonBenet Ramsey.
Yes.
Yes. You know I know this already.
So they believe that JonBenet Ramsey wasn't actually killed. She was fake murdered and hidden away for 6 more years until they released her as Katy Perry, so that instead of JonBenet being like a, you know, famous pageant queen, she would grow up to be a famous pop star. However, I don't understand why JonBenet Ramsey couldn't have just been the pop star. Like, why they had to fake kill her and make her as Katy Perry. And
That's
I tried to find it, and
weird.
apparently there's this YouTube video that this one guy goes into, like, great detail about it, but he removed his account. So the video is gone everywhere, and I could not find it. I'm so sad.
Oh, man.
But the...
Like, I get where people get that from, because she does look very, like, similar.
She does look a lot like yeah.
She looks like JonBenet Ramsey looks like what you would expect Katy Perry to look like as a child.
Yes.
But I think that's about as far as it goes.
Well, and also the fact that JonBenet Ramsey is 6 years younger than Katy Perry, or would have been, would have been. So they also say that there's pictures of Katy Perry as a child. So it's not like there's, like, no pictures and this, like, random girl shows up at the age of 12 and there's, like, nothing prior to that. Like, they have a bunch of pictures of her. They also say that the dad of JonBenet Ramsey and Katy Perry look really similar, and so they're like, well, maybe it's the same person. Dun, dun, dun.
Huh.
Well, I think
That's
they
weird.
would figure that out by now.
Right?
Well, especially with, like, DNA testing.
Right. And another person pointed out, like, there was definitely, like, a body. Like, they found it. It's not like she went missing. Like, they found JonBenet Ramsey's body.
Yeah.
So.
I honestly don't know much about her case.
I don't know too much either, to be honest.
It's not good.
Yeah.
I think I have it on my list to cover, but, like, I don't
Okay.
know much about it.
Yeah, I know that the, like, prevalent theory now is that her brother did it, but I don't really know too much
Yeah.
other than that.
Oh.
I think so.
Okay. Somebody posted in one of our groups
Yeah.
that I follow, and it was like, without context, the brother did it, and I had no idea what they meant.
Yeah, they were talking about the JonBenet Ramsey case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense
So.
now.
Yeah. So those were the celebrity imposters. And unfortunately, like I said, there wasn't a ton of information because a lot of people don't believe it. So it's, But I did go into some pretty scary rabbit holes on Reddit. And they were like talking to like all school shootings were fake. And this one guy was like, I mean, obviously we know that the school shootings were fake and 9/11 was faked. I mean, that's a given. But now I'm starting to wonder like about these celebrity imposters. It's just so
Jeez.
You know what I didn't expect growing up is the amount of stupid adults there are in this world. I was like, man, I can't wait until I'm grown up and everybody is like knows how to just act civilized.
Yeah.
Nope. Never.
And then there's like people who just can't, like they nothing.
And then all the like middle-aged Karens that are acting like toddlers. It's just get it together, people. But yeah, so that is the celebrity imposters. Oh goodness. All right, so let's hear about some ghost ships, Rochelle.
Okay. All right, so I used 2 different resources mainly. The first being mysticsciences.com. There is a article by Steve Paslow, and then mysteriousuniverse.org, and there's an article there by Brett Swanser. So again, like I found myself getting way too into the writing of this.
I love it.
Like I did last week. But yeah, I'm just sitting at work, like after everybody's checked in and I've done some downtime and I've got like the computer pulled up with like my research and then my laptop pulled up with my...
That's awesome.
I love it. All right. Ghost ships, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah. A ghost ship, sometimes called a phantom ship, is a vessel with no living crew aboard. It could be a ghostly vessel, such as the legendary tale of the Flying Dutchman, who I'm sure you both have heard of, who is said to be doomed to sail the oceans forever, or even a physical vessel in such poor condition that it has run aground with no living crew to be found, like the very true story of the mysterious Mary Celeste.
Ooh.
Whatever the story, the image of a ghostly ship sailing through the fog forever repeating its course while the remains of many real ships and their crews still lie under the cold, dark waters is nothing short of a chilling thought. When most people think of ghost ships, they think of the big, tall pirate ships sailing the 7 seas.
Yes.
But many similar bodies of water are host to a number of shipwrecks and sightings of phantom ships of their own. So, as you know, I live in Kingston, Ontario. It's right on the shores of Lake Ontario and the St. Lawrence River. The Great Lakes themselves hold a number of stories about the many ships that have succumbed to their perilous waters. I have actually been lucky to tell the tale of the Bavaria, one ship that got lost on its way to Kingston, and the mysterious disappearance of its entire crew over and over again on the Haunted Walk of Kingston. Plugging my job if you want to come to Kingston and take a tour. Do it with the Haunted Walk of Kingston. But the logs of ships gone missing in the Great Lakes cannot be done justice by just one story. So have you heard of any of the shipwrecks or of any of the ghost ships in the Great Lakes?
I just know the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's probably one of the most popular ones because of the song.
Yeah.
But, like, we're all kind of from around the area of the Great Lakes. Well, Jess, I guess you're from a little further.
I was raised in Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah, I grew up by Lake Superior. Like right beside
Okay.
it.
Yeah, there we go. We all grew up around a different Great Lake. So for those who may not be familiar, the Great Lakes are a group of very large freshwater lakes that encompass land in both the United States and Canada. They are, in fact, the largest group of freshwater lakes in the world, covering a grand total of 94,250 square miles. That is 244,106 square kilometers for all of us Canadianos. And I thought I would test you two to see if you which one of you could name all 5 of the Great Lakes.
Okay. Jessica, do you want to try or do you want me to try?
Let's do like a wager or something. Like, let's bet something that like who could do it faster,
Oh God,
come up with them faster.
Are you Googling it, Jessica?
No.
Yes, you are.
You do suspiciously look like you're on
It's
your
our
phone.
group chat, you psychopath.
Sure.
Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Erie. Oh God. Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, Lake Erie. I don't know.
Can you get Ashley?
Lake
Can you get
Ontario.
Ashley?
There we go.
And
My province.
Lake Huron.
There we go.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, Jessica,
Group
you can get your
effort.
province.
Group
Yeah, because
effort.
she grew up in Ontario, but not on Lake Ontario.
Yes, there you go.
And I
Lake
did both.
Superior.
So for if anybody didn't catch all of those, the 5 lakes are Lake Ontario, Lake Superior, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, and Lake Erie. Since the 17th century, there have been thousands of vessels to sink beneath these 5 lakes, and their rough ocean-like qualities are bound to swallow up even more. With storms just as ferocious as those found out on the open sea, these lakes are extremely dangerous for even the most experienced crews. So, when I was working for the cruise line, we went up the St. Lawrence River, which goes off of Lake Ontario and goes up towards the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just the water is on that sometimes.
Yeah.
Kind of scary.
I remember I took a friend from England came, and we went to Lake Michigan, and you can't see across it, and he's like, that is huge. He's like, are there sharks in there? And I was like, no, it's fresh water. But yeah, you have to have really good sized boats to go out on that.
They're basically mini oceans. Yeah. So the amount of ships to be lost in the Great Lakes is so chilling, there's been a nickname given to those that still sail in the afterlife, as the stories surrounding the tragic tales of the ghastly crew still live on. And I call it the Ghost Fleet.
Ooh.
Ooh, cool.
Which I was like, this sounds real
Yeah.
cool. Really cool. The oldest ship to be deemed a member of the Ghost Fleet and one of the very first to sink in the waters of Lake Michigan is an old rugged ship that went by the name Le Griffon. So it was a French ship. And we're just going to call it the Griffin.
Okay.
The Griffin set out on its maiden journey from a port in Niagara on Lake Erie in August of 1679.
Whoa.
That is old.
1679. That was before America was even America.
Yeah, it was before America was even America. Yeah. It was New France, and they wanted to sail too. The large 40... My family's all French. I hope they're okay with that.
It sounded beautiful.
The large 40-ton vessel had 7 cannons on board and was captained by French explorer René de La Salle with the purpose of shipping supplies for La Salle's planned expeditions into New France. The final voyage began with a perilous route through the Straits of Mackinac down into Lake Michigan, where it stopped at an anchorage near Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Did you just say Mackinac?
I was in Wisconsin 2 years ago, and sorry, Wisconsin, but your food is awful.
Really?
Awful.
I've never been to Wisconsin.
I didn't like a single thing that we ate.
They're known for their cheese.
Okay, here's the kicker. We went to a little mom and pop restaurant in Superior, Wisconsin. I shouldn't be saying the name. I don't want to shame anybody from there. But you know when you order coffee at a restaurant, they'll bring a pot of coffee, and then they'll bring those little cups of little pods of creamer or milk. The one they had on the table didn't even say in the ingredients anywhere dairy or milk, anything. It wasn't real milk.
Is that not normal up in Canada?
Wait, what? You're gonna tell me that it's normal for you to have fake?
What?
No.
You have non-dairy creamer. And then you can leave it out on the tables. It doesn't have to be refrigerated.
Oh, that's so not a thing
You
around
guys don't have
here.
that?
No.
I feel like we have non-dairy creamer, but it's not the option.
We have non-dairy creamer in the grocery stores, but not in the restaurants.
Yeah, but it wouldn't
usually.
be an option at a restaurant like that. You would get little pods of like 10% cream or milk.
Oh, see, we don't have the milk. We don't have like the little pods of milk. It's either non-dairy creamer or like creamer, and they'll have like sometimes like the French vanilla. Like they'll get fancy with it if you're at like a nice place.
Oh, wow.
I just blow your mind.
What a fun conversation to listen to. Anyways.
Yeah, Jessica, I did hear your her pronunciation of Mackinac. So it's Mackinac Island.
Mackinac. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The final voyage began with a perilous route through the Straits of Mackinac and down into Lake Michigan, where it stopped at an anchorage near Green Bay, Wisconsin. After the cargo it was carrying had been offloaded, the Griffin was sent back towards Niagara with a stash of 47 traded furs to be delivered, which is a lot of furs.
Yes, it is.
Can you imagine how much that would have been worth back then in 1670 or whatever?
Probably a whole penny.
Jeez.
Which adjusted for inflation
You
would
know
be
what?
$9 million.
Do you want me to see what it is? A penny in 1652 is worth 35 cents now.
Ooh.
Ooh. Anyways, so they have 47 traded furs on the ship. Although weather conditions were seemingly good when they started to head back towards Niagara, the Griffin sailed off into the distance and vanished without a trace. Just poof.
Ooh.
Just poofed. The ship and 6 crewmen were never found and are believed to have been caught up in a rough storm that ended up with the entire vessel going down. At the time of its disappearance, and due to the nature of the traded furs on board, many people blame the Griffin's fate on an alleged curse that had been placed on the ship by an Iroquois elder named Mediomek. And I did want to put in there that it's no longer Iroquois, it is Haudenosaunee, because that is the name they gave themselves. Iroquois is the name that we white folk gave them. So he believed the ship to be offensive to the Great Spirit and even warned the captain that she was destined to sink.
Oh.
And they were like, all right, let's go. Although somewhere on the bottom of Lake Michigan is the final resting place of the Griffin and her crew, she seems to still sail the foggy banks. There are stories told of sailors seeing a glowing, ghostly, 3-masted, antiquated ship emerge from the mist. The Griffin, in her phantom form, has a habit of setting on a head collision course with other vessels, only to disappear completely right before
Oh,
the
how
hit.
terrifying would that be?
That's horrifying. They're like, we're sailing right.
Yeah, like you're scared to get hit, and then you're.
Yeah, so that's not a very nice ghost
Oh, that's
ship.
awful.
Very rude. Most often seen sailing the Michigan Harbor on particularly gloomy nights, the ship is even spotted by folks walking the shore. The wreck of the Griffin and the location of her final resting spot is still unknown, and finding it has become a highly sought-after prize of many underwater archaeologists.
That would
cool.
be really cool.
So cool. There have been many wrecks found, but none of them have been identified as the Griffin.
Okay.
How cool
I feel
is
like
that?
I was thinking so I went to Grand Haven a lot when I was younger, which is like our little coastal town closest to Grand Rapids, and I would go out there at night a lot, and like we'd hang out, like young teenage kids did, and I never saw a ghost ship. However, I also feel like if there was a ghost ship, I wouldn't realize that it was a ghost ship. I'd just be like, oh hey, there's a cool boat, and like keep walking. And like not pay attention, you know what I mean?
Oh, hey, that's a cool boat. We get like the tall ships that like come down around Kingston sometimes, and they're like those big pirate ships. They're really cool.
Yeah, I don't think I would think that it was a ghost ship, and I would just be like, oh cool.
Well, I think it would depend on if you saw it in the daytime. But I doubt you'd probably see it in the daytime.
I think it would be super jarring to see it at any time of day.
True.
Especially if it's coming right at you.
Yeah.
Another major member of the Great Lakes Ghost Fleet is one of the most famous ships to ever sail the lakes, the Bannockburn. The Canadian-registered steel-hulled freighter ship disappeared off Lake Superior on November 21st, 1902.
Oh.
One day before my birthday.
You were born in 1902?
I'm that old. The ship and her, I was actually, November 22nd is a JFK assassination date.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. Sometimes American Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. It's always the last Thursday in November.
Yep. The ship and her crew of 21 men and a cargo hold full of wheat vanished without a trace after setting sail from Fort William. What makes this case even more interesting is that the captain from another ship, the Algonquin, reported seeing the Bannockburn several times, but suddenly and inexplicably lost sight of the ship and where it was going. The disgruntled captain of the Algonquin allegedly said that he had lost sight of the ship due to the very heavy fog that crept across the water at the time, which understandable. Mm-hmm. Well, the weather continued to grow worse and a storm began to brew. Another ship reported seeing the Bannockburn, but there were no red flags or distress signals that signified they were in anything less than working order. So, like, why would you just go approach a random ship?
Yeah, that's weird.
So, understandable that they lost sight of them. When the Bannockburn failed to arrive at its scheduled destination, concerned family members of the crew pushed for a search for the ship, but nothing was ever found. By November 26, 1902, the Bannockburn was officially declared lost. How sad for everyone who, like, had family on that ship.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't a lot of time, though, that they, like, searched for them.
Yeah. Yeah. The only wreckage to have ever been found was a single life preserver and an oar. That's it. That's it.
Wow.
Much like the Griffin, the Bannockburn still sails on and has been seen so many times since her disappearance that many call her the Flying Dutchman of Lake Superior.
Oh, cute!
Oh.
So she is famous. Joining the Ghost Fleet in the late 19th century, two enormous oar freighters, the W.H. Gilker, it's one of those, and the Western Reserve were lost, one below Lake Michigan and one below Lake Superior. While on a journey from Cleveland to Minnesota, the first ship went down with one single survivor left to tell the tale. One single guy. It is said that the ship's captain dreamt of the ship's demise in great detail before the ship had even left the harbor.
Ugh.
And again, he was still like,
let's do this.
I would have been like, maybe not today.
That's so funny. Didn't, like, one of the people from the Titanic, like, have a dream about that, too?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
Yeah. 2 months later, the second ship sailed straight into a storm on Lake Michigan and was never seen again. Both ships can still be seen around the areas thought to be their final resting grounds, and their phantom forms are more than chilling. The ghost ship of the Western Reserve is said to be able to produce huge banks of fog and enormous rough waves, while witnesses have claimed to hear talking and laughter coming from across the waters.
Oh. Well, at least they're still having fun.
Yeah. I would hope. Talking and laughter. I'm hoping that's not them mistaking, like, screams.
Yeah, right?
Whoa. The spectral W.H. Gilker still sails with her captain, sometimes spotted.
Beautiful.
I tried to get away with it, and I didn't. Sometimes spotted at the helm of the ship, and will still let out a mighty wail from the foghorn. Ooh. No, I don't like that. Foghorns are scary.
They're creepy. There's something very eerie about them.
Yeah. The stories of the ships lost to the lakes is an ever-growing anthology. Some of them are more than a little creepy. There is one rather peculiar tale involving another steel ore steamer called the Emperor. Ever since the ship and her crew of 12 went down in a storm back in 1947, the wreck quickly became a favorite among divers who began experiencing some strange things.
Oh.
In 1988, one diver reported swimming into the Emperor's crew cabin, only to find the ghost of a crewman resting on his bunk.
Gross.
That's awful because you're underwater and like...
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh.
The phantom figure stared blankly at the diver before vanishing.
He's probably like, what the hell are you doing down here?
Another who? The ghost is thinking that, or the diver?
Yeah, the ghost is thinking that.
What the hell are you doing down here? The phantom figure stared blankly at the diver before vanishing. Another diver was said to have come across another ghostly crewman working away in the engine room. The apparition again just stared back at the diver with eyes that he described as dark pools of nothing, really just black holes.
Ooh, that's terrifying.
I mean, like, there's not a lot of light when you're down under the lakes, and then people have dark... But, like, there wouldn't be a person down there anyway, so that theory's gone right out the window. After the stare down, the crewmen just went back to work. There have even been reports of engine noises and a raspy voice that tells the divers to die coming from within the wreckage.
Ooh.
Engine noises, it's scarier than it sounds, I think. If you were to actually hear that.
But I mean, like, if you're like scuba diving a wreck and you hear engine noises, I think that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But like engine noises in general wouldn't be that scary.
So, finally, my favorite story coming from the Tales of the Ghost Fleet is that of the schooner ship, the Erie Board of Trade, which is like not a ship name. Pick a better ship name. Like even SS Erie Board, I don't know, anything's better than the Erie Board of Trade, which vanished from Lake Huron back in 1883. This is a different sort of shipwreck story, though, as there were no storms, no rogue waves, no perilous weather for the ship to get lost in. Nothing of the sort. What do you think it was?
Leak. Just
Better. Instead, it was the sinister efforts of a ghost that caused the Erie Board of Trade to go down. So a ghost caused a ship to go down and become a ghost ship.
Ooh.
The story goes as follows. The captain of the ship had ordered a crew member to brave the less than ideal weather conditions and climb up the tall main mast of the ship. Super safe. Tragically, and not so unexpectedly, he slipped and fell to his death. Soon after, the crew began to see the ghostly apparition of the dead crewman quite frequently around the ship.
Oh.
When they eventually stopped at the port, the crew nervously began sharing their experiences with the ghost with their friends and family members. When the ship set sail again, it vanished, never to be seen again. Although the Erie Board of Trade doesn't have a physical body, her phantom spirit is still seen with full ghostly crew, said to be recruited by the spirit of the crewman that fell to his death.
Ooh, that's
Which
creepy.
is like,
I like that one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's like big Pirates of the Caribbean vibes.
Yeah.
There.
You know, I think that if I were to die and I had to be a ghost, I think being a ghost on a ship would be the best. Like, that's where I'd want to be a ghost.
So Dustin and I play this game on Xbox called Sea of Thieves, which is basically like you're a pirate and you sail around on your boat and you fight enemies and you shoot cannons and then you shoot ghost ships and then like sail around like a pirate, like you can pull out an instrument, play like a shanty.
That's cool.
Cute.
And it's just fun time and I like it.
You can play that in the new Assassin's Creed, like the Valhalla one. When you're sailing, you can sing songs and stuff. It's fun.
Cute.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that being a ghost would be the best. That's what I want to do.
Well, and you get to travel. Like, that's nice.
And I love the ocean,
Yeah.
so I get to be on the ocean forever.
That was one of the things I liked about working on the boat, on the cruise boat.
You worked on a cruise boat?
It was like, yeah, I worked on a river cruise boat up the St. Lawrence.
Cute.
And it was not great in a lot of ways, but like, there were things about it that I really did enjoy, and like just sailing was one of them.
Yeah. That would be really cute.
Anyways, that's all.
Awesome. Well, if you would like more of us lovely ladies, you can find us on our website at historiesandmysteriesPodcast.godaddysites.com.
Daddy. I was dying laughing when I was editing. Okay, cat, like elephant in the closet here, or whatever the saying is. Might have noticed that somebody was missing from a good chunk of last week's podcast. And that's because yours truly had a nap. A very long,
We're like,
unexpected.
Rochelle, are you there? Rochelle. We're like, okay, we're just going to start and you can just meet us. And then we were done and we're like, okay, well, never mind. We're done.
Dustin came into the room. Was like, you're gonna make some room for me in there, like getting me to shuffle over on the bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? Like, why are you going to bed? And he's like, it's midnight. And I'm like, what? What do you mean it's midnight? I was sure I was like, I didn't think I slept at all. I was like, sure it was maybe like 15 minutes after.
Oh my goodness.
That was my stupid mistake, laying down
Yeah.
after a bath. So.
Oh, jeez, yeah, that'll get you.
Baths are so nice.
Sorry.
Because of that, Jessica had to do the GoDaddy because now it's just got to be a tradition. We got to do it.
Yes.
So, ghost feature of the week on our TikTok, which is Histories and Mysteries Pod.
If you want to rate and review us, we would greatly appreciate it. Or if you want to recommend us to your friends, or we have a little chat box on our website. You can send us episode recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
Put stuff that you want to hear
Yeah,
about.
if you've ever seen a ghost ship, tell me.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for listening. And we look forward to bringing you 2 news stories next week.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.